ready, Misty?
You're on it.
Tonight, I want to talk about something that we can all relate to. The title of the message is called "Death, the Honey in the Death," and it's going to be talking about the views of addiction and the desires that it can cause you if you keep walking past it. And you got my slides. If you got your Bible, if you want to turn, we can read up here. I'm going to read through 9 verses, and it's in Judges 14. I'm going to read verses 1 through 9. And verse 1 says, "And Samson went down to Timnath and saw a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnath of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brother, or among all my people, that thou gest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines? And Samson said unto his father, Get her for me, for she pleaseth me well. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of the Lord that he sought an occasion against the Philistines. For at that time the Philistines had dominion over Israel. Then went Samson down, and his father and his mother, to Timnath, and came to the vineyards of Timnath, and behold, a young lion roared against him. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid. And he had nothing in his hands, but he told not his father or his mother what he had done. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Samson well. And after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion. And behold, there was a swarm of bees and honey in the carcass of the lion. Then he took therefore in his hands, and went on eating, and came to his father and mother. And he gave them, and they did eat, but he told them not that he had taken the honey out of the carcass of the lion. All right, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just want to graciously thank you for allowing us to be here tonight, Lord, and to fellowship with each other, Lord. Lord, just allow the words to come in my mouth to be of you and be only of you. Yes. And Lord, just allow our hearts and ears to be open to receive the word. And we just want to thank you and praise you in your precious name and pray. All right, tonight I want to talk about, this man named Samson. Now this guy was, God really blessed this man. He gave him, gave him all the strength in the world, gave him all kinds of abilities. He was a great leader. People really looked up to this man. And another thing that we're going to look at is, it's going to be a key thing in this, is the lion. All throughout the Bible, the Bible teaches us about good lions and bad lions. You got your good lion. Jesus was from the tribe of Judah, the Lion of Judah. Which is king of the jungle. Jesus is supposed to be the king of our lives. The Christ of our life, the ruler of our life. But then also in the Bible, the lion represents, in 1 Peter 5:8, the enemy is like a roaring lion. Yeah. Ready to pounce on you, ready to get you any chance he gets. See, in the Bible, you got 2 different kinds of lions. You got one, you got your good lion. Then you got your bad lion. If you look at that word lion, one lion's ready to lie down for you, and then one lion's ready to lie to you. Yeah. So one, you got your good and your bad in all situations in life. Now, if Steve can bring up the key thing that we've got to look at when we look at this story in the Bible here is Samson was a Nazarite. Now, he was born into this. Now, if you ask him what is a Nazarite. A Nazarite is an Israelite consecrated to the service of God under vows to abstain from alcohol, let their hair grow, and avoid defilement by contact with corpse, with dead things. He's not supposed to be touching or be around dead stuff. Now, if you're like I am, and you've gave your life to Christ, and you call yourself a disciple of Christ, or even if you're not sure, but if you choose to want to change your life, in all honesty, you're making a vow to be a Nazarite. See, we can't go around and just drink beer when we want to. We can't just go around and smoke crack if we want to. You know, there comes a line that we have to walk if we want to go do this thing called being a disciple of Christ. Or if there's this thing called if we want to be a son of God or a daughter of God, there's things that we have to do before we can actually walk that out. Yeah. So back in that day, you know, Samson was called to be a Nazarite. He was consecrated for this reason. I always say Samson was he was the he-man with the she-weakness. Now I know a lot of you men can understand that. That's one of our biggest downfalls as men is women. And I don't know about y'all women. Y'all women are just our downfall. No, I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. But anyways, though, back to the lion. The lion is the key thing that you really have to pay attention to in this story. Because, you know, when I was talking about the two different kinds of lions, you got one that's lying down for you and the one that's trying to lie to you. And, you know, all these battlefields happen in our mind, in the inner safari in the jungle that's above your shoulders here. And that's where those lions are coming around and they're roaring. Either you got the one that, you know, you've seen the angel of the good and the bad, one's telling you, you know, your Holy Spirit, and then you got the enemy always trying to tell you, hey, go do this, and you got the Holy Spirit that convicts you. No, Roy, you know better than that. So in that safari in the jungle that's in your head, you have to be cautious of which line is talking to you, of which line that you're going to listen to. So what we're seeing when I was talking about the he-man with the she-weakness, the first thing is he was going down to go talk to a woman that he's really not even supposed to be messing with to begin with. Yeah. See, he was, you know, he's called to stick with his people, to strengthen his tribe, to strengthen his people. And right off the rip, he's already starting to go and wander off to places he's not supposed to even wander off to. So on the way to wander off to go see this woman that's caught his eye, that's caught his attention by who, I don't know, maybe her personality or the way she looks. But either way, he let his emotions, first off, get him in trouble. You know, it always says your eyes are the windows to your soul. Well, a lot of times, you know, that's one of the biggest things that gets us in trouble is looking out those windows. Because what we're looking through, what we're looking out of, and what we're looking to, is we're looking out of it through our flesh. But if we allow our spirit, if we start looking through our spiritual goggles, we start understanding what we are looking at and the things, if I can or if I shouldn't be looking at this, first off. So we see Samson's going, and he's walking down, and he's going to see this woman. So he's walking through the vineyard, and all of a sudden a lion comes out of nowhere and tries to attack him. And it says that the Spirit of the Lord came upon him, and he tore him apart like he was just like a little baby kid, not a kid as in a kid, but a baby, like a little baby animal. So that's one key thing. We have to realize, even when attacks come, that if we just be obedient, God will give you the strength to overcome any attack or any situation that gets put in front of you. See, those times when you're stuck around and all of a sudden idle time is the devil's playground, or if you're sitting at the house and that lion starts roaring at you, well, maybe I should go get high tonight. God will give you the power that's already residing in you if you just tap into it. and you can resist that lion that's roaring at you. But we see Samson, he tears the lion up and throws the carcass over to the side and keeps going down the path to go see this woman. He goes down, he sees this woman. He does what he does, and it says that she was pleasant to him. How many times does sin seem pleasant to you? How many times doing the things that you ain't supposed to be doing seem pleasant to you? Too many times I know when the things that I'm not supposed to do, it always seems like it's so good and so makes me feel so great until I get caught up in it. And then it don't feel so pleasant anymore. So what we see is he goes down and sees the woman. And then she's pleasant, so he starts going back. And when he goes back, he comes across, it says he comes across and the carcass is there. And the carcass has got honey and bees. And it's just got a big honeycomb in the carcass of the lion. Now, how many times can I say that addiction will always look sweet to the eye? How many times can I say that the things that I know I'm not supposed to even mess with looks real good to me? Can I even say that sometimes my pockets ain't fat like they used to? Can I say sometimes that selling them drugs again will sure look sweet to my pockets? But I know that I made a consecration to the Lord. I know I was a Nazarite. And I know that there's certain things that I can't do no more. But see, here, let me tell you the biggest problem, what the flaw was in Samson. The flaw was that he didn't eat the honey and all, he did this. He broke a vow that he wasn't supposed to. Sure, he wasn't supposed to do that. The problem was, and this is the key thing I want y'all to catch now. This ain't going to be long, but this is it's really going to make sense if you listen. The problem that happened with Samson was, when he came down, he got attacked, right? Then when he went back home, what he passed by? He passed the carcass of the lion, right? So here, let me ask y'all this. Why do we continue to travel down the same path that we know that keeps getting us attacked? Why do we keep on walking down that same path? If he's walking back into a path that he knows that where lions are going to be running around rapid. See, how many times do we keep putting ourselves in situations that we know will cause us harm? If I keep putting me in places that I'm being around people that I know I shouldn't be around, all I'm doing is just waiting for an attack to come. So why do I want to continue to put myself in harm's way? And see, this attack didn't come by a physical attack where he had to really physically fight off something. This time the enemy played a little slicker. Well, the first time you got me. You defeated the attack. I got you. That I sent after you. But this time I'm gonna one up you. This time they don't look like it's really that harmful. But this time I'm gonna give you something that's pleasing to the eye. But since you made the choice to keep walking down the same path and passing by the things that we know we ain't supposed to be passing by, that's when he'll catch us. See, how many times do we keep walking by our old friends? How many times do we keep putting ourselves back in those situations where we know we're not supposed to be around? We know that if I keep hanging around in the barbershop long enough, I'm going to get my hair cut. That's right. So, he knew that he was consecrated to be a Nazarite. He knew he couldn't touch dead things. So, right away, his promise and what he declared to the Lord went out the window because at that moment something looked good to him. If something looks good to you, are you going to throw away everything that you've worked so hard to get just because at that moment it's making you feel good? or just at that moment it looks to be good. Now, I know when I kept reading this that it just seemed so weird that bees would be making honey in the middle of something, in the carcass of a lion. It just don't even seem like that's real. But then again, how many times does the enemy do stuff that puts stuff in our head that make me think, well, you know, that there's no way that could be real. That there's no way that that could happen. How many times has he tried to tell me that, yeah, you still go to church and you're still trying to do good, but if I continue after I leave church to go take part in these activities that I know I'm not supposed to be doing, that I'm just as doomed as somebody out here just shooting up every day.
Yes, sir.
There is no difference. Because it's something that pleases the eye, pleases the flesh. So, and another thing that was so bad in the situation was that when he got the honey out and started eating it, then what did he do to it? He took it home to his mom and dad. How many times have we brought our sin to our parents, to our loved ones, to our friends, to our family? Our choices don't just affect us. They affect everybody that's connected to us. Because it said that he didn't tell his parents where he got the honey from. How many times have you went to the club and brought back a honey to your parents? Huh? Y'all quiet? Because you're bringing honey from the dead. We're going to try to find our wife in the crack house. Go try to find your husband by how many, what size of rims he's got on his car. Because we still got our mindset on, well, the world says so-and-so is a good person, or so-and-so is a good man because he makes this much money, or so-and-so is a good person because they can get this and this and this done for me. Because it's pleasing to our eye. Now tonight, I really want us to really search ourselves and think, are we walking down the same path that caused us to have to start fighting to begin with? That's the main thing I want y'all to ask yourself tonight. Am I putting myself in a situation where I can't win? Am I putting myself in a situation where I don't know if the attack is coming or not? Just because it don't move around, it don't stir around, don't mean the attack ain't there and it's dangerous. Am I putting myself around the right people to keep me straight? Do I have accountability in my life? Do you have anybody in your life that's going to call you out if you ain't doing something right? That's something that you got to have in your life. Because if I'm bringing honey back to my house, I want somebody to tell me, where'd you get that honey at? I want somebody to let me know, hey, you better put that honey down. You ain't supposed to be messing with that honey. I want somebody in my life that tells me stuff like that. I want somebody that's going to tell me that, hey, why you keep walking past that dead thing? Why you keep on going down the same path that you know a fight's getting ready to come? You don't know when, but you know what's going to happen if you keep on going down that path. Why you keep going there? I want people to tell me stuff like that. Does it get on my nerves? Of course.
Yeah.
But you got to have that, because if not,
yes, sir.
I'm just going to find myself back in prison, just living in misery. But the biggest thing, though, is why do y'all think that he went and grabbed that honey though? Because he knew for a fact that he was not supposed to touch anything dead. Nobody? Y'all know y'all talk back to me. Because the honey was sweet. I just think it all comes down to a pride thing. Wherever you look at into the Bible and you start reading about Samson, Samson always was very proud.
Yeah.
Just like he kept on laying down in the hired hand of the enemy's lap. And eventually, you keep laying your head down in the hired hand of the enemy's lap, eventually they're going to get you tied up. But he was so prideful that he would always think, well, you know what, they can't get me. It'll never happen to me. Not me. I'm a man of God. But that man of God lost his vision because of his own stupidity. And we'll lose our vision over our own stupidity if we ain't careful. Now, the thing I want to ask each and every one of y'all tonight, like I said, this is just something short, sweet, and to the point, is tonight, Chris, look, I really want y'all to really search down, deep down inside yourself, and ask yourself, am I walking down the path where the attacks can happen? Am I walking down the same path where I'm going to pass by every day things I know I ain't supposed to be around? And am I keeping my promise to be the man or woman that I'm supposed to be for God? And or is tonight the night that I want to start making a promise to be a Nazarite? It's the night I want to start saying, you know what, today I want to declare that I'm going to keep God's commandments. I'm going to show the love of Christ everywhere I go. And I'm going to commit my life to Him. I want everybody to search their hearts about that. And tonight, this is just one of those nights where addiction or whatever, sin, period, pride, addiction, lust, whatever, a lot of times it's very sweet to our eye. It really always looks good to us. But is it going to cause you to slip up and fail? Is it going to cause you to bring your mess to your family and loved ones? Or are you willing tonight to change the path? To get away from the attacks that you know is coming. Of course there's going to be attacks in life, but you ain't going to keep walking right into them. Tonight could be the night that you choose. Tonight is the night that I declare that I'm making a difference. Tonight's the night that I declare that I'm going to change something in my life. So I don't have to keep putting up with the same foolishness over and over and over again. You know, open up these altars. If you need prayer, we'll pray with you. Or if you just want to talk to the Lord yourself, I won't bother you. Tonight, please just search yourself and really ask yourself, am I walking down the right path? And if not, please God, help me get off of it and get on the right one.